Well, it's time now to ask the expert. Here to answer your questions live on the air about intermittent fasting is Dr. Natasha Bhuyan. All right, our first one is how long do I need to not eat? And what about the times I do eat? Does it matter what I eat?
This is a great question. So it does matter what you eat. And this is the criticism of intermittent fasting. We don't want people eating unhealthy foods during their feast periods. We want people eating the nutrient-dense foods, grains, vegetables, healthy fats, those sorts of things. And then in terms of the timing, it's different for everybody. So when people start intermittent fasting, I tell them try the 12-12 window, which is 12 hours of fasting, 12 hours of eating.
Okay.
And then shrink that eating window, and then do 10 hours of an eating window, and then try 8 hours of an eating window, because that eating window does matter in terms of long-term outcomes.
Right.
And for different people, a different eating window is what actually has effects. For some people, 10 hours is all they need to lose weight. For other people, an 8-hour window is what they need.
So when you say start with the 12-12, so give me a time frame.
Yeah, so it could be like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Got it.
Where you fast from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. and then you eat. Now, I will tell you, when people do the 12-12, really modest results, not a lot of weight loss. But that's a good way to start, and then you just keep shrinking that eating window.
All right, good stuff. If I eat the same number of calories fasting versus no fasting, will I lose weight?
I love this question because it goes back to the old adage of calories in, calories out. Is that true?
Yes.
That's actually a myth. And so if somebody, we do know for intermittent fasting, most people actually do eat less calories in that shorter time period. Most people eat about 400 less calories per day. So of course that helps with weight loss. But the other thing with intermittent fasting, the way it works is when we fast for a long period of time, our body starts to burn through fat as opposed to burning through glucose stores.
Okay.
And that's actually how we end up losing weight. I think the other big thing with calories in, calories out is the calories you consume matter. And so if you're eating healthy calories, even if it's the same, if you're eating less carbs, eating more healthy fats, that actually makes a difference. It can lead to weight loss. Basal metabolic rate is the other thing that matters that we don't account for. When people do intermittent fasting, it improves the basal metabolic rate. Hormones are the other things that we don't account for. So I think the short answer is yes, we've seen people who consume the same number of calories, healthier calories, and they end up losing weight. But for most people, they end up losing weight because of the calorie reduction and because of the fast and the fuel burning.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. And I'll just check with your doctor because everybody's different.
Of course, everyone's different. Yeah.
Yes. Linda from Phoenix asks, is intermittent fasting healthy for a lifetime method of maintaining weight?
Well, Linda, there are people who actually have done intermittent fasting for years, and they intend to commit to it for a lifetime. And I think we're finding more and more research studies that are showing it is safe, it's fine. There was one research study, though, that showed, it was, I think, 20,000 people. It wasn't peer-reviewed. It's a very, very early study, and it showed an increase in kind of heart disease risk. But I think with that study, what they're trying to look at is, did those people eat unhealthy while they were doing intermittent fasting? So were those the people that were just eating steaks and burgers? I think that study is really, really early. But for the most part, talk to your doctor. But most people can maintain this in a healthy way.
And like you said, it really depends on what you eat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, this viewer asks, can I exercise while fasting?
Oh, Cesar, great question. Yes, you can exercise while fasting, but there's some caveats to that. We recommend like low intensity cardio exercises as opposed to high intensity weights or anything like that. Obviously, you need to pace yourself. A lot of people say rest and digest during the fasting period, but research shows you can exercise with caution. Again, talk to your doctor, but there's a plan that you can come up with and stay hydrated.
Yeah, no kidding. You don't want to pass out. All right, this viewer says, is intermittent fasting good if you have an autoimmune disease such as lupus?
This is a mixed bag. So there's some autoimmune diseases like type 1 diabetes that we don't advise intermittent fasting for. But there's other autoimmune diseases where people actually decrease inflammation when they do the intermittent fasting, and it helps their chronic disease. Now, what I tell people is if you have any chronic disease, check with your doctor before you pursue intermittent fasting. The complexities here are you might be on medications for a chronic disease, and the medication shouldn't be taken on an empty stomach. So there's some nuances to work through, but it's possible for people with certain autoimmune diseases.
Oh, interesting. All right, Natasha, thank you. And we had such great questions from our viewers too. So thank you as well. We appreciate you. Our